everybody, Cash Duck Bowcraft here today. Just wanted to show you guys a real quick box of elk bones that was sent to me by my friend Mike at Warrior Bows. We did some trading and he gave me some elk bones that he had laying around, and I was gonna make some stuff out of them, and as I was cutting them open, I found that inside of them, the marrow, you can see right here, was still rather fresh. I don't know how old these bones are, but the marrow is really fatty and soft and mushy. And so what I'm doing, I'm taking the marrow out of the bones and collecting as much as I can. These are kind of hard and waxy, but they're still good enough. And what I thought I would do, I would make a candle, an oil lamp. And this is the joint bone, goes right here just like that, and I cut it off, and that's where I found all the marrow. So what I'm doing, I'm going to be making a lamp just for fun. I'm going to use the marrow here as the fire source, or as the means of keeping the lamp lit. And basically what I did, I just cut off the joint part here. I'm just hollowing out all the marrow out of here. That's okay if there's still some in there. But what we're going to do is we're going to fill that up with oil, put a wick in it, and make a candle out of it. It stands upright, so it's really cool. It's got all the meat and stuff still on there. I'm going to clean all this stuff off, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And I'm going to get this camera set up and show you how I go about doing it. It's really simple. It's just a quick project I was working on, and I thought it would be fun. Okay, you can see the marrow here, and I'm just cleaning it out. I don't really want to get my fingers all up in there because it's really greasy, really oily. But you can see here that I pulled it out. Now ordinarily, if these were fresh bones, we'd be eating this part, making soup out of it. But since I have no idea how old this stuff is, and I am not in the mood to be eating this stuff, we're going to do something with it. I always like to try to do as much as I can with any kind of wild animal parts. I didn't kill this elk, but one day maybe I will. But even though, you know, Mike was kind enough to send me these bones, I figured the least I can do is make something out of them. So project number one would be somehow to utilize this marrow. Since it is, you know, kind of fatty and greasy and oily, I'm also going to render this down and make some kind of sealant for the bows, you know, like a wax sealant for the bows. You know, add it to maybe some bowstring wax. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do with this stuff. I just don't have it off the top of my head, but it's always good to have this. You know, you can use this wax as if you shoot black powder to lubricate your patches and the balls and stuff. It's just a lot of good use for it. It's just like animal fat. So we're going to go ahead and continue on getting all this stuff out of here. You can see how it's all like waxy. And when I get this done, I'll turn the camera back on and show you how I go about doing that lamp. Okay, so here's the joint bone here. You can see it's kind of burnt out because I was playing around with it earlier, and I made a candle prior to that, and I decided to make a video on how I went about doing that. But this is the bone, and back in the old days they probably broke, you know, I cut this on the bandsaw, but back in the old days they probably just broke this thing and just ground it down on a rock or something to make it smooth. I'm not even sure that they even use this, but you know, it works just as well. And what we're going to use for a wick is just some jute twine here. Just normal jute cord. I take about, you know, about a foot off, and then what I do is I got this this marrow here, and just get a little bit on my fingers and just rub it and just try to saturate this twine with the fat. It's kind of messy, but you gotta do it. You could also melt the fat and just dip the string inside the melted fat, but I'm just doing it this way. I don't really have a fire handy right now. And then I just roll it up and just stuff it in the hole here. I think I got a little bit, made it just a little bit too long. Okay, got it stuffed in the hole, and then I'm going to put some of this tallow or this marrow inside the hole. Like I said before, you can always melt it into like an oil, but I'm just doing it like that, just filling it up, and there's my wick right here. And the more as it burns, the more marrow you put in here, the longer it'll burn. Okay, once you got that all packed in, you got the wick just saturated and covered with the marrow, just light it on fire. You can see that it's takes a second for it to catch, but sooner or later the marrow will start to melt and it will act as an oil to keep the candle lit. There you go. It just takes a few seconds for it to catch. If I had melted it down and turned the marrow into a liquid form, it would probably work a little bit quicker. But as it heats up, it'll start melting, and as it melts, it'll continue to flame. That thing will burn for as long as that marrow is, or this cavity is filled with marrow, or fat, or oil, or whatever it is that you need to put in there in order for it to, for fuel to burn. And if you want to put in some more oil or whatever, you just dump another little piece of fat in there. Just wait for that to melt. And if you had to walk around somewhere, you know, you could carry this thing with you. Just be careful not to spill the oil, but you could certainly carry it around. And then when you get to where you got to go, you could set it down and go about your business. So there you go. I blew it out and then I relit it. It was out for a few minutes and then I relit it. Anyway, we're back again. It's been a few minutes while this thing is burning. One thing that you want to do is position it so that it doesn't overflow and drip all over whatever it is you have this sitting on. You want the oil to remain inside the cavity here so that it'll build up and keep the candle lit. But you can see here that that flame is still going. It's been lit for probably about 15 minutes now. And you know, it doesn't look like a bright enough light, but you know, I'm going to turn off the light. You can see how bright it is. So there you go. You can imagine if we were in a cave or in a tent or something. It does emit a good enough light so that you could read by, and you know, just a primitive style way to have some lighting. Anyway, here you go. Cash Stick Bullcraft. Thanks for watching.